You mentioned Illinois. Carbon storage has potential for leaking into aquifers and water supplies. What was your involvement in the legal case in Illinois? Can you elaborate on what happened with that carbon leak that was, as you say, uniquely monitored?
Yeah, it wasn't a legal case. It was a bill in front of the Illinois Senate and House that passed. And it sounds like the governor is going to sign it. And what the bill will do is stop proposed CCS projects, except for one that's already spent $50 million or something. It gets grandfathered in, that are also in the Mount Simons aquifer below the Mahomet aquifer, which is the sole source drinking water supply for a lot of Illinois. So a lot of the motivation for this bill was to protect their drinking water. Not so much about climate change. And I think they're right. I would certainly not want to live above a giant bubble of buoyant gas. It's an enormous force pushing up. And it first would pass through the drinking water. So I think they're right. The politics are interesting. It passed overwhelmingly because the Democrats, the people who had called me in, were concerned about the drinking water. A lot of Republicans also wanted to stop it. And as one guy put it, because we know carbon dioxide is plant food, we should be putting more of it into the air rather than less. So it was this great political union of both sides.
Well, I understand that Republicans in Louisiana are against carbon storage, even though the White House is for it. We're seeing some Republicans and
So
even the governor of Florida, DeSantis, call it a scam.
That's right. So, I don't know anything about national politics that you don't know, but this is kind of actually a fun thing to watch, because you've got two sides that are fundamentally dishonest or delusional. It's a little hard to tell. Okay, so on the one side, you have the oil companies who spent tremendous resources and more than a decade arguing that climate change is a fraud. And then they kind of switched directions to promoting what we're calling, for this get-together, false solutions. Then on the other side, and these are the more kind of local MAGA crowd, they look at CCS subsidies and say, well, that's a deep state scheme that's, getting our tax dollars for this fraud that's climate change. So these two groups that are both, MAGA Republicans, are on opposite sides of these issues for reasons none of which are correct, actually. So I don't know. I've said before, it'd be fun to be a fly on the wall when an argument happens between them, but yeah.